I had to come to the conclusion that I struggle with anxiety more often than I care to admit. And I think the biggest thing that triggers that anxiety comes in the form of information overload. I have a bad habit of taking in too much information. I will scroll on Instagram through YouTube looking for videos about how to improve myself. And it gets to a point where I'm taking on too much information because I'm trying to get as much information as possible because I find myself wanting to grow as quickly as possible. I lose sight of the fact that growth comes from the journey, not reaching the destination. And that's so cliche, I know, but it's something I struggle with daily. Taking on too much information, taking on too much burden, always thinking about what's coming next, always thinking about what can I do better, always thinking about how can I bring more money into this house, because I can honestly say I am a product of hustle culture. And I know how toxic hustle culture can be. And living in California, you can hustle your ass off. And there's just so many things to keep track of, so many things to remember. I find myself always struggling with trying to remember all those things because as I have all of this information circulating in my head, another thing that I struggle with is trying to find the best way to store all of this information. How do I keep track of all this information? I've gone through journaling, I've gone through making calendars on my iPad, on my iPhone, trying Google calendars. I tried notation at one point, but I'm too busy being stuck in the act of finding something that I never stick to one thing and then get better at that one thing because I have a bad tendency of overloading myself with a lot of information. And that then puts me in a state of decision fatigue. I have so many options, so much information that I don't know what to choose from, or I don't know what to choose to do next. So I'll freeze. My survival will kick in. I'll freeze and then I'll just become stagnant. I start downplaying myself. That chatter in the head starts to play a little bit louder and I become susceptible to all of these negative thoughts, all these negative points of views and perspectives of myself. I've gotten better at recognizing that because I have read so many books. I believe the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle definitely helped me develop a watcher in my head. Okay, now I can recognize when that chatter's happening, and for the most part I'm okay at detecting that, but a lot of the times I am not. I definitely become susceptible to the negative thoughts in my head. So that leads me to, well, what are some of the solutions for that? I'm still trying to find the best solutions. Like I said, I try and find too many solutions, but some of the solutions that I've heard, people have told me, I've discovered myself, or people have reminded me of, is one, journaling. Journaling is a fan-freaking-tastic way to then dump everything that's in here and putting on the paper. You are physically taking things out of your body, out of your mind, and putting it onto paper. Now that comes with developing the discipline to then form a habit of doing that regularly. I got good at one point, but life happens. Life happens. Two, meditation. The act of meditating, just being present. I found that doing mindless acts is the best way to meditate. So if I'm doing the dishes, for example, I will think to myself, the water's hot. The soap smells like game. The sponge is dirty. The sponge is porous. There are 12 dishes in the sink. The water's still on. It's too hot. Let me turn down the cold. Like just being present in that moment. Or, quite honestly, sitting down. You can be crisscross applesauce. You can be sitting up on a chair, closing your eyes, and just focusing on your breath. Third, going for a run. I just recently started getting up at like 5:30, and like going for a run allows you to be present in nature. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get better at not listening to music because then that just helps with the overflow of information that I'm receiving. But just noticing the birds chirping, noticing that the breeze is making the trees shake, noticing the color of the bark, the color of the grass. How many ducks do you see? Do you hear any ducks? I don't know about y'all, but when I run, I'm always looking down most of the time, so I don't want to step in duck poop or dog poop. A lot of people like to let their dogs poop out there. But being in nature, as an earth sign, a Virgo, I feel I thrive in the wilderness. I thrive in the woods. Touching some grass, man. Touching some grass. If you can go out in nature and meditate and journal, you win it. The fourth way of doing this is reading a book. In this day and age, we are getting all of our information from an Instagram, a TikTok, a YouTube. But just sitting down and reading a paper book allows you to just focus on one thing, and you don't have the temptation of scrolling and swiping or getting hit with ads that then disrupts your whole flow of reading. Now, all of this only works when you carve out time to then do something for yourself. This is why I'm going to start doing videos at night. The sun's down, everybody's asleep. I'm staying up just a little extra longer because I thoroughly enjoy doing this. So this brings me to my fifth point. Doing something you thoroughly enjoy. I enjoy the arts, and that's something doing for myself. It removes my ability to think, and I can do something mindless. That goes hand in hand with meditation. Those are just some of the ways that I learned to cope with a hyperactive mind, cope with ADHD, and honestly, none of this even matters if you don't take the time to develop a routine. Because when you develop that routine, then boom. Yeah, man, I'm so susceptible to overthinking. It's so easy for me to overthink. It's so easy for me to over-research something because I am inquisitive. It's so easy for me to just overindulge because I do have ADHD and I'm looking for those dopamine kicks, those dopamine fixes. And I'm learning how to satisfy those dopamine cravings in a healthy way. Finishing a writing, that achievement, dopamine peak. Finishing a poem, dopamine peak. Finishing a video, dopamine peak. I'm definitely learning how to navigate this world, and I will still continue to learn how to navigate this world to the day that I die. But that's just something that's been in my heart. I'm always trying to search for clarity in chaos. But yeah, man, I gotta learn how to just be still. Take your time. Stop thinking. Stop doing shit. I'm in perpetual movement. I'm learning just to be present. Be still. But there is no but. And I'll get better. You'll get better. We all get better. Trouble don't last always. And, eventually it's always on time. Just gotta be patient.